Hello, welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 230 and Doubleshot number 163. Okay. First up, X-Men Inferno Volume 1, collecting issues. Power Pack number 40 and 40-43. X Factor 33 to 36. X Terminators, the entire 4-issue series. Uncanny X-Men 239 and 240, and New Mutants number 71 and 72. Now, before you can get to the other issues, there are several, pages from other books, the subplots from, you have pages from Uncanny X-Men 232 through 234, which goes on for a few pages. Pretty much help set the stage for this particular type of thing. There's also a subplot. There's also material from X Factor 32. There's some sample artwork of the thing. And there's also material from 236 to 238 of Uncanny X-Men. Yeah. And then you start off with Power Pack. Yep. Now the Power Pack issues are written by Louis Simonson. Now, somebody might ask, who is Louis Simonson? Some of you who may have heard the name Walt Simonson, the guy who happened to have one of the greatest Thor runs ever in the history of the Thor comic. This guy was on the Thor comic for 5 years. Yes. Now, Louis Simonson is his wife. And Louis Simonson was also responsible for creating the She started the X Factor series, and she was one of the longest-running writers on the series Superman, Man of Steel. No, not related to the movie, and not related to the miniseries released back in the 80s. The Man of Steel ongoing comic that lasts for 134. She was one of the first writers for the book. Yep. She runs the Power Pack issues. Uncanny X-Men issues, obviously by Chris Claremont because he was the writer at that point. Let's see here. X Factor is also done with Louis Simonson. Yeah, she's still on the book. Let me see here. Trying to figure out who did the X Terminator series. Let's see here. That's X Factor. Okay, the X Terminator series was also done by Louis Simonson, and my guess is that John Bundaby must have done New Mutants, if I'm guessing that correctly. I'm trying to figure it out here. Let's see here. It's new X Factor. Okay, it's done with Louis Simonson as well. I'm not sure exactly what book John Berg does the writing on, but Walt Simonson does do the artwork for some of the books. It's also a Sal Valentino. Yeah, he does the artwork as well. Walt Simonson is also a artist as well, besides being a writer. He wrote and drew Thor. That's why he has one of the best runs of Thor. This is basically all like prelude and startup for the Inferno event. Plus, it has all the build-up toward Inferno, which is I do praise Marvel for putting that material in here. So, let's get this over here. There we go. Yeah. So, I do praise Marvel for putting that in this particular tray, and I think there's another volume of this, but this is still pretty good. It's a long book. Yeah, a long book. So, I give this book I'd say 8.5 out of 10. I mean, it takes a while to get through it. The only reason they can point it because it takes a while to get through it. And, in case you're wondering, no, the Marauders barely do anything in this book, in case you're wondering. In case you're wondering who the Marauders are, it's these guys right here, along with Sabretooth. Yeah, Sabretooth was also part of the Marauders. And surprisingly, Gambit was also a founding member of the Marauders. But as far as I know, after the initial Mutant Massacre thing, he never was actually part of the Marauders ever again. He was put on trial and briefly kicked out of the X-Men for his tension for being part of the Marauders, but he never actually killed any Morlocks. That's the reason he was well welcomed back, despite the fact he was kicked out of the X-Men. Another X-Men trade. This is X-Men Age of Apocalypse Dawn. This is simply like, basically, this book collects X-Men Chronicles 1 through 2, Tales from Age of Apocalypse 1 through 2, X-Men negative number 1, Blink number 1 through 4, material from X-Men Age of Apocalypse one shot, X-Men A number 96. Now there are a bunch of varieties on here. You got Howard Mankey, Scott Lobdell, Ralph Macchio, John Francis Moore, Brian K. Vaughan, Terry Kervin, Joe Winnick, and a bunch more. Now the question is, who does all the writing for all these books? Now, let's find out. First, you have X-Men Chronicles, which was the fill-in replacement book for X-Men Limited. Now, that's done by Howard Mankey. He does X-Men Chronicles. Okay? Now, basically, this is all like background and setup for the entire event. And plus, it kind of reveals what happened to Blink after the events of Age of Apocalypse. Yeah, at the end of one particular thing, let's see. The Age of Apocalypse one-shot, if I could find the writer in here. Let's see here. I know it's running someplace. Here we go. It's done by Larry Hama and Talent Caldwell. They do the first story in this one. Second story is done by Tony Bernard and Paco Mendia. That's who the writers are for the second one. The second issue is also X-Men Chronicles, also done by Howard Mankey. Let me see here. Let's see who does the other writing here. Now, Tales from Age of Apocalypse is done by Brian K. Vaughan, John Moore. Yeah, that's who does it, particularly that one. Let's see here. Tales from Age of Apocalypse, that's done by Scott Lobdell and Ralph Macchio. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out exactly. Oh, I should also show some artwork in here. Now, there's this one story in here, where the artwork is done by Scott, where it's done by Scott Lobdell and Alvin Lee. Now, this artwork might look familiar if you're familiar with this Transformers Dreamwave comic. Yeah, it's the same style as that. Yes, that's one of the books. Yeah, this book has got many different artists on it, so you can't really tell exactly. There's like no central artist in this book. So yeah, the X-Men negative number 1. Let's see here. That's done by Terry Cavan. That's who does the X-Man. The X-Man was the replacement for Cable for the entire thing. Blink is done by Scott Lobdell. Why not? He created the character, so why not do the entire 4-issue series? Yeah, he wrote the entire series. And then the series ended with simply her going after the series Exiles. Yeah. So you can kind of say that that the entire Blink series was kind of like a lead up to Exiles. And here it is. Here's proof right here. There's Necrotine. She's from an alternate reality, and it says to be continued in Exiles. By the way, that is a really awesome series. Yeah, there's some material from other books. Deals with now the X-Men Annual. That one's done by, I think, yeah, that's done by Terry Cavan as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this book. So pretty much you have a lot of setup and stuff going on, and basically beginnings of the X-Men Age of Apocalypse crossover of the 1990s. This is by far the second time the crossovers have been officially collected. Heck, there's some issues in some parts in here that have never been collected before, which I do praise Marvel for doing. Now, there's only 2 reasons why I can think of they actually started doing collecting this thing again. 2 reasons. One is because when these trades were coming out, it was the 20th anniversary of the crossover, and second, to help promote the X-Men Apocalypse film, even though it was produced by Fox. But that's just another theory. But I think the official reason is because it was the 20th anniversary of the crossover, so why not do another set of trades, even though they've done it before, with the complete Age of Apocalypse Epic that was released back in 2005. So they decided to do a new trade edition, which is actually the first time they've done this for this thing. So I think this is the third edition of these trades, but second this size. So I give this book a 9 out of 10, even though it's long, but it's still pretty enjoyable. Even though I give the other one 9, but there's some parts in there that are kind of boring. That's the thing about Inferno. It's considered to be one of the most controversial Marvel crossovers they ever conceived. It's not like despised. The reason why it's controversial because it's so long, and also there's all these death and demons. People don't like the demon stuff that much. And here's the thing: the whole point of the crossover is that you have the island of Manhattan literally sent to hell itself, and basically the whole city is attacked by demons from left to right. And by the time the whole city returned to normal, everybody's forgotten all death and destruction that happened during the crossover. Alright? So, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be episode 231 and Doubleshot number 164. And I'm going to be doing 2 more Age of Apocalypse trades. Okay? But until then, see you there. Bye.